omwibara lyange komulisa wisaza ya Fort Portal nintwara mugisa gunu okusima bona batano batwatiraho na muno myaka inyuma ende twasorolize bilioni 2 abo mulemo gwo kusemeza eklezia yitu rugatwa evirika omulimo gwatandikire twasanga ntwetaga sente kuongeraho bilioni na milioni rukaga nabweki abakozi abakomulimo gunu kampuni ya gukora aba contractors baturaganize ngo hampero yo kwezi kwa November beja ko nomalizo mulimo ogu nabweki nsaba abagonzebwa twataniza hamu kurorangu ensimu zona ntwisoroza nuko tusobole kurorangu abakozi abakomulimo guno bantu bamalira sobole kubasasura nabweki nimbarama bilaka tuongeremo abani omumiringo yona tereho kusoroza ensimbi koraba mparishe zaitu sobole kusoroza ensimbi zunu ziratukonyera kutunga esente zikwetagisa omulimo guno mulungi nabweki abarungi mumanyengu omukoha mukama n'omutima gumu mukama n'abasima kana abaho mugisagwe nanyo nimbasabira mugisagwe mugutunge kaniti twena ntubasabira nuko mukama abe mugisa nanyo we nkomereza wa mukama nimbaho mugisa mwibale sitwe nerya mwana nerya moyo mukirire amen.
Richard Rwabuhinga nilibara lyange ndio mu abantu abaholereza kandi abarora Fort TV amakuru agakiziro obwingi nikiragatunga kuruga Fort TV ningonze ntekanoze yabe yanyencyakara kandi ndio mu habasagiki abamani aba Fort TV mugumeho muhereza abantu baitu amakuru amarungi abwenkorakorana yensi yaitu.
Fort TV ikara osemerirwe.
My name is Imboga Elvis Kateva, and I'll be presiding over this debate.
Will you, as in you are in P6, will you go to P7 without doing exams? No.
Exams help to test pupils if she or her is able.
Sir Chair, I request for only
Please,
1 minute.
Not allowed, take your seat.
We'll be able to represent our city because of Hinga Primary School.
On my own behalf, as the Bishop Ordinary of Fort Portal Diocese, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of you, people of God, for your generous contribution of 2 billion that you made as we are beginning fundraising for our Cathedral of Virika. As time went on, we realized that we needed more funds amounting to 1.6 billion so as to complete the works which have come up newly. And as such, we are in need of this money badly because the ambitious constructors company which is working on the works has promised by the end of November they'll have everything ready. And therefore we are appealing to your generosity to contribute towards this cause through the different fundraisings in our parishes, the fundraising dinners here in Fort Portal, in Kampala, and elsewhere. Know that when you contribute generously towards the place of worship for the Lord will also bless you greatly. And therefore we are appealing for your generosity and know that the Lord will bless you greatly. And I too, as his servant, I take this opportunity to bless you as well. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
bagira orufumu olw'abaisenkulu lwitwe oluli very meaningful olwina amakulu ag'amaanyi olukugamba ngu amata gatahatwa lwagatahasireho ata kagatahatahoga tagatahata obwagatahata amata agagata kandi amata obo olukumara gata tosobola kwongera okagayoramu
Nyenaitwe toro okahundwa mawu oniniza bulyomu Nyenaitwe toro okahundwa mawu oniniza bulyomu Mundekere ngambe bana bange toro tegambwaho mawu obunkororo busozi n'ebihanga nisekero munda muntu wange amagana mwisazi kazagire ebinyansi bibire bitarukoma amalindiro ebisoro n'ebinyonyi Nyenaitwe toro okahundwa mawu oniniza bulyomu oleke enguru kicheko mutabisunga omutima gwa toro bantu bange obugoma budikiri nywena mwiche tohaisaniza omuhangi lwatohaire
Chamuka gwa maiza gasempaya
olusozi lw'ensoli lwemerire
amabere ganyina mwiru nyakasula
ebicongo n'ebisarwe bitarukoma Nyenaitwe toro okahundwa mawu oniniza bulyomu
Yeah, we are back on air. Thank you so much for staying with us up to now. Of course, like I had promised you, my guest is here today to discuss with me a few issues. The most important one, the raging census report that has just been released by the Uganda National Bureau of Statistics, but also other national issues of concern. Isaac, I think you've not been here before, and it is
not really. And it's a pleasure, please.
You are now here to help us understand some of these issues.
Very good.
Thank you. I will not do a lot of introductions on you.
Definitely not.
You practice medicine and nobody will contend that.
Maybe my name is Isaac Asim.
Isaac, you followed the census. You followed it quite closely. And the results are now here.
Yes.
Toro region has just grown from 800,000, around 800,000 to now 1.005. Is that a good improvement? But also there are other figures, because 70% people in Toro region here, it has been said that they live up to around 70 years.
Yes.
Toro region.
Yes.
But something also is quite peculiar. Watuku have been presented as a different tribe. I didn't know that.
Correct.
I didn't know
yes.
that.
I also got to learn of it.
I knew these people are part of us here.
Yes.
Which sense do you make of this whole thing?
basically, if I could delve into a few sneak peeks of the National Housing Population Census 2024, I was also so keen, and my interest was with Toro region. When you look at the growth rate in terms of numbers, yes, there has been a slight increase, but the increase is gradual, as opposed to the expectations.
Slow.
It is very slow. Yes, it is slow, as expected. You understand? Because when you look at, for example, Toroko district, let me not discuss Batuku in isolation, because Toroko district is big. It encompasses a number of tribes. Batuku, Batoro, Bakonzo, Banyamboga, some cross from the Congo.
It's a myriad down there. It's a myriad of
absolutely. Because I don't know whether Mukiza was right with his figures, but it's like now Batuku's number is declining.
Around 400 something?
Yes. No, 40,000.
Mtuarena.
From 70. So I'm wondering. There is a problem with the figures. I don't know if they have to look into it again, but I was shocked. As though the number of Batuku is declining gradually. Not like in the past.
But why? Why? Kikia why? Kuzara, family planning, kikibonaku kintu kikiriao.
Meanwhile, we look at that and some of those factors that surround the decline. I also am frustrated about how UBOS is trying to come out with these conclusions. I don't know if they were very strict with their measures of national population collection, because it's absurd, Rujumba. You cannot be 70,000 people and then decline to 40,000 in an era of today. It's quite hard.
In an era of 10 years?
It's hard to imagine. In an era of 10 years, where we expect numbers to be skyrocketing, numbers are declining.
But you see, the overall population growth rate, I think they said fertility rate that has
declined.
But you see, when you look at these population figures, they resonate with the recent report that was released by the the Uganda AIDS Commission. You're talking about a region that has the highest number of HIV infections.
Yes.
Could it be a reason, or that and more, could they explain this decline in growth?
However much that could be one of the issues or factors surrounding that, I am also trying to imagine the level of poverty in this country, which very few people are trying to pay attention to. Yes, Rujumba. You realize productive men of you and I, that caliber, where we expect some of us to be maybe owning homes and having children, it's the least of us who are doing that.
You just can't think of it.
Yes, please. I think poverty is the #1 contributor to whichever figure you're seeing today in these reports.
Including the death.
Death, name it. Death, disease, everything. You cannot discuss this
in isolation.
In isolation, you cannot. I mean, you should be discussing poverty as the bottom line, which people are not paying key interest to. You get? Rujumba, today, a man of your stature, we expect you to be having a home, a well-doing home. Married, happily, by the way, not angrily.
Having paid dowry.
But also being able, you should be in position to be able to cater for your bills. Water, electricity, medical
care. Take yourself
care.
to hospital.
Basic needs of man.
Take care of those around you.
Basic needs of man. But you've not done.
And you can't afford.
And you can't afford. You may not even envision it in the next 5 years. I doubt highly.
But you see, what is happening?
So I think the number of young men and women who are expected to be, in courtship or even in marriage is very minimal.
They are just engaging in transactional sex.
Transactional sex.
And age-desperate sex.
Because a 20-year-old man today sleeps with a 45-year-old
woman.
Yes. Why? Because he's
looking for survival.
No, he's aware of financial security. You understand? So, in the process, this 45-year-old perhaps has children, has a home. Would she be willing to bear children with you and have another home with you? impossible.
But you see, there's another key interesting thing. Where abantu batugamba hano manya abaguru sindi bakoma Museveni manya abana batatu bakumwenda. Now the figures have displayed something peculiar. You realize 50% population yona hamu mitwaro 8 mitwaro 9 milioni 5 aba bena ikumana musanzu.
Yes.
The total number of Ugandans today according to the May census.
Yes.
50% of those are people below 17 years.
Yes.
But also 23.5% are people between 18 and 30 years of age.
Correct.
Should we expect these people to again yawn and yell and tell us we didn't vote for so and so, it is old men who voted for so and so?
So the thing about Museveni and all these statistical figures
is a facade?
Is a facade, and I'm sure.
You're not scared to say it's a facade?
Why should I be scared? I'm sure Museveni himself
knows it.
He knows, he's aware. Even Mukiza is aware.
Yeah. This is
very much aware.
Because at first you see they had presented that you see the Uganda Bureau of Statistics pulled down the 2024 census report from its website. They had to first pull it down because the first figures
were honest with you. I received that news, I think, about 3 days ago.
It was on Thursday, the very first time.
Actually, those are about 4 days ago.
Yeah, 4 days ago.
4 days ago. That first day when I received the news, we went through, had a few...
I heard you talk about
yes,
it, and they ran away from the debate because they didn't know how...
I knew you were going to take time and go through it. Trust me, when I came back the following day, I found out a few commissions and omissions in the report. So I was wondering, and people are like, hey, look, this has been omitted, this has been committed again.
Yeah.
Why?
Because they had first said that the figure is dropping, the figure of Acholi region, they had first indicated it was dropping from 2,131,443 to 1.94 millions, 913 people. When it was and Bugisu was displayed as though it was dropping from 2.39 to 2.096. And this was pulled down and they corrected it with a new...
Whichever disparities you are seeing in the figures on the very first day and the figures in the subsequent days is very well, can very well be attributed to the fact that they have to match a certain public figure.
They have certain interests,
yes,
ulterior motives.
Absolutely. That's what they're trying to do. I tell you, the report on the very first day I received it is very different from the report today. Even if you opened it now, it's like they're doing editing.
They pulled it down from their website.
Yes, they did. Yes, but for reasons well known to them.
But you see, when you look at it also more closely, is it because of how the enumerators were treated? Because you remember at the start of the exercise, enumerators, some of them complained of issues, some of them were hungry, not eaten, transport and everything.
Okay, this...
Could it be attributed to that, or this is the way government operates?
Mr. Rujumba, for the very first time, we had a digital-based exercise, quite different from the past. Yes, this could come with a few technicalities, which very many enumerators, supervisors made. I was chanced to participate in this exercise. I know what technicalities went through. However, these could contribute to a few errors, you understand, which you and I could believe and be like, okay, this is about, it's a technical error, you understand, in the collection of data. However, when you look at the figures and how fast these people are failing to trust their own report, you cannot, a national report, how do you publish a report today? Then after 4 days, it's totally different from the past, and you pull it out down from your website. That speaks volumes.
But generally, what is the use of this whole thing? Is government going to make? Do they make use of these figures?
Yes.
Is it going to help them in any way, like planning or stuff?
I don't think these figures are going to help government in planning. These figures, first and foremost, we are approaching 2026. And national population census has come at a time, I think they're a little bit lucky that it has come at a time when we're approaching these elections. One of the reasons I think as to why they're playing about their figures could also match what interests they have in the 2026 election.
Ahead of the 2026 election.
Exactly. Yes, in terms of, vote rigging and stuff like that. I don't think they're going to use these figures for planning. I highly doubt. If they were going to use these figures for planning, then they should be very critical with how they report. I mean, this is a national report, and you are going to do planning. How do you pull down from your website?
They would be smart enough to...
This is something that should be held with the utmost care. National planning.
You are counting your own citizens and their demographics.
Okay, in any case, have they helped us in the past? Okay, let's say they were for planning reasons. Have these figures helped us in the past?
Of course, when they came, you remember when they came for these things, they came and they were distributing money during COVID-19.
Yes.
Some people had died, they didn't even know where they are.
Yes.
Some people who have the figure, they were using figures of I don't know where.
You get. That's the point I'm trying to make. So I highly doubt if these figures are going to help government in planning, national planning.
But you see, going back to Toro region, the numbers, this numerical weakness, what does it mean for the region in general?
You must believe that when the numbers are dropping for a certain society or community, I want to look at it at community-based level, you are trying to decline culture. I want to go cultural. Rujumba, great economies like China have been able to set the standard because of their culture. The culture has not just come. It is because of the numerical strength. You understand? If you are very few at all, how are you going to define your culture? How many leaders are you going to vote into power who are going to protect your culture? You understand? So, socio-economic transformation doesn't just come. It sprouts from somewhere. Until you are able to uniquely define who you are. And it is numbers which contribute to something.
With time, oja kusirumunta kukwaliza utoro na abura.
Bali yovainga sasa. Rujumba, how many people can perfectly speak Rutoro today? I'm sure you know. At least you're lucky. You can ably try to, discuss a few things here and there in Rutoro. Today we have young people who are never even to pronounce Rutoro names.
But some are even proud. No, you
tell them to pronounce the names, Toro names. You tell someone to pronounce the word, for example, Walikengi Kwoketi. That statement.
But again, it's disgusting.
They are coming with slangs, they are coming with the awkward languages. I don't know where they're picking this from. You understand? And they're taking pride in it. So, the more the numbers decline, suspect the more the culture to be neutralized.
But even the bargaining power
Correct.
On the national cake.
Correct. Slope down in the talk today. Trust me. Whichever problems we are facing today cannot be divorced from the figures, from our figures.
These figures?
Yes. Abantu tumsobora kuba mtwaro msanzu in the past 10 years. You boss is unserious. You boss is unserious.
No, is the boss undercounting or the numbers are really going down there in Otoko?
There are two things.
Both are happening.
Both are happening. I know what challenges came along, digitalization of this exercise. I am very much aware. But also, I cannot shy away from the fact that there are also unique challenges we are facing as a region. You get? So the two are contributing factors.
But what does this, I think, require the leadership, the local leadership in the area here to take action? Which specific actions do they need to take?
Before the leadership can take action, from which society are they sprouting? A disorganized, unemployed, quarrelsome, backward society. Do you expect leaders to be different? Alex Ruhuna will be Alex Ruhuna on the floor of parliament because he's a Mutor. He will not be a Muganda on the floor of parliament. He can't.
He comes from Fort Patria.
Please.
His voters.
I mean.
They mean what is going to become
no,
there.
When he's down here, he mingles with some of you. You will be dining together at the same table. You will not invite Baganda from Kampala.
You're talking about an MP who is voted because he buries, because he contributes to burials,
in
because
charge.
In charge.
Yes. So he cannot run away from the shackles that are placed on him from his
Because he has
society.
contributed to a football team playing.
Absolutely. How our members of parliament discuss on the floor is very similar to how societies behave.
So there is a little to expect from the leadership. About
Very much
this.
little. We would be stupid to expect a lot from this leadership.
What of the cultural leaders, the Oyo and his team?
Those ones have failed on their part.
They have
They
no
have,
hope for
they
us.
have failed on their part.
You have no hope that they can resurrect.
You see, if I don't think I have hope. They have failed on their part. And I'm not sorry that maybe it's a blunt statement, but they have failed on their part.
They have
Cultural leaders. Spiritual leaders.
Because abakwa nogamba ngo kandi mazima n'abantu kumenya rutoro hano n'abana bonka n'uri umuntu nakugambira nye mpako tingire.
The other day I was challenging Batuku. I asked them a few questions. I asked them, what is your cultural heritage? What are you richly known for? They are giving me figures from websites on Google, from whichever, search engines. But the people who fed this information to these engines gave them wrong information.
Isaac nobazaho abantu umukama wabo takumanya rulimi.
Uwe arubaza emirundi nga.
Arubaza emirundi nga. Hata barawigana babihanka.
Correct.
Because the number one thing, when you look at, you've quoted China, but when you look at, let me give you an example of the Church of England. The Church of England, its governor is the King of England. The Church of England describes their faith.
Yes.
Religion is just a set of beliefs for certain culture of people.
Absolutely.
But their number one defender, the governor of the Church of England, is not the Bishop of Canterbury,
Not really.
but the King of England.
Correct.
So, is King Oyo the governor of our culture here? Does he command it? Does he know it?
I mean, go to England. I know you are a soccer fan. You understand?
Yes.
When Roman Abramovich sold off Chelsea, when he was threatened that he would be sanctioned, he rushed quickly to sell Chelsea. But before he could sell it, that was the last property he thought he would sell. You understand? But because sanctions were hard hitting, he said, okay, I'm risking, let me just sell it off. But you know what England had decided? That once Roman Abramovich goes and there's no one to buy Chelsea, the kingdom
will take it up.
Will take over. This should be now the club of England.
It is the reason why United could not be sold to Arabs.
To Arabs.
Because they look at it as a state, an asset of the state.
Rujumba, we are trying so much to underrate culture. And culture is kingdom.
Of course.
Yes.
It is religion.
It is religion. The two can be used interchangeably.
No, what you look at as Christianity is a European culture.
But you see, religion means you are too devoted.
Yes.
You get? That is the meaning of religious. It's not this going and sitting under a certain roof in church.
And
not really.
Have them to recite a few.
Being religious means you are devoted enough. So, if we are devoted enough to our culture, I mean, kings should be the presidents here in Toro. But there should be little from 7 to do in Toro.
But you see, the challenge is this is a republic. That's why King Oyo cannot get an invitation to attend the United Nations Assembly.
Correct.
Actually, he's not a king, he's a cultural leader. There cannot be a king in a republic.
Yes.
That's why it's Museveni who is invited for United Nations General Assembly, not King Oyo, not Mwenda Mutebi, not anyone. But even with this new definition of their titles, they are not performing. And
Rujumba, if I could ask you a simple question, could you at least cite for me maybe 4 cardinal rules of this kingdom? Not in theory, the practical cardinal rules.
It's really a tough question.
You will fail.
It's a tough question.
No, any sane human being should fail.
Because there is nothing to show for them.
Why should I be proud of you? No, why should I?
No,
my failure to be proud of my culture alienates me automatically from whichever challenges we are going to face. Because I will tend to run away.
Does this mean asokubaro habatoro abahandikisibo mukubara kono baitu bayahandikisa mu bintu bayahandikisa as new tribes or anything
that percentage is there. That percentage is there.
There could have been Vatoro who did not register as Vatoro.
And Vatuko are the majority in that regard.
You are being disrespectful to those
No,
guys.
I'm not being disrespectful. I'm trying to be part of them.
But
because if I pretend...
You are being brutal honest with them.
Yes, because I'm part of them.
And
If I don't be honest with them, no one is going to.
And
It's very painful. You cannot tell me the society from which I come that the other time, 10 years ago, we were 70,000 people and today we are 40.
No, Isaac, I'm afraid we'll have to leave the census at that. But I want to talk to you, Isaac.
Yes.
We've discussed it quite often. Mpuga, with his mother party, NUP, is now coming up with those reforms of his. Also, Lumu came up with some...
Lumu Richard. Mitiana South?
From Mitiana South.
Yes.
He's saying they need to amend how the leader of opposition is appointed in parliament.
Voted.
It should be voted. It looks strange. Yeah, are these things in any way intending to prove or to improve anything, or they are just another witch hunt against Bob Wine and the NUP?
I want to begin with Mpuga. And maybe
Lumu can come later.
Lumu can come later. Because Mpuga's case, Honorable Matthias Mpuga is not being realistic. He has come up with 3 electoral reforms. One is presidential term limits to resolve, to restore presidential term limits. The other one is to reduce the size of parliament to 160 MPs, male MPs, 160 women.
He's saying
then 10 MPs for 10 cities. You understand? And then also he's trying to discuss the eligibility of voting. I don't know if Mpuga intends to run for president. If that's the case, then he's trying to seek relevance. Why? Mpuga, you've been here for years. You know our immediate challenge. The reforms are good. You understand? The reforms are necessary. But are they urgent? What's the most urgent thing? Dr. Kano Kizabesija has quite often talked about this. Before you discuss the eligibility of voters, discuss if these eligible voters are able to go into this election and vote freely and fairly.
And their vote gets respect.
Counts.
Can that happen?
I've seen one of his statements, that people should also be able to have capacity to petition in court. So what? So after elections, they should have. They should have authority.
If Dr. Vesija has petitioned, the petition has not seen the light of the day. Dr. Vesija has petitioned, the petition has not seen light of the day. Is it going to make any difference if Isaac leaves for Porto and goes to petition?
But Rujumba, it's not the first time people are coming up with presidential term limits. It is synonymous with our politics here. You recall what happened in Parliament. So Mpuga, what are you trying to insinuate when you say today I'm coming up with these reforms? Mpuga, what change are you going to really influence in this regard?
So he is presenting them to a parliament that removed them.
And that has been singing about them.
And that has been singing.
And has not found solution. We need to investigate and establish Mpuga's intentions.
No, there was. I remember the leader of opposition. The leader of opposition said that they are now planning to. They are mooting a move so that MPs can vote the president.
Here is what.
And they were saying that they will be lacking behind an opposition member of parliament.
That is Richard's.
No, Richard is bringing back what Medadi Segon had brought in the last parliament. That the leader of opposition should be elected or voted by the opposition members in parliament.
Now we can also drag in room Richard's point here.
Please do.
At this point, at this juncture. Rujumba, it's unfortunate that in the face of all this, we find ourselves by default discussing wishfully.
Out of fantasy.
Yes, we start wishing maybe if democracy was in existence. Because by bringing up this, Room Richard's amendment bill, or the Parliament Administration Bill 2024, which now many people are trying to term as the Room Bill.
Yeah.
Room is disrespecting and undermining the principles of democracy, if democracy was in place.
the principles of parliamentary system of governance.
They are going to marginalize these very few opposition members of parliament. Let me pose a question. If, let's say this is passed, by all standards it's passed on the floor of parliament and taken up. Who is going to vote? Who is not going to vote? Are NRM members of parliament going to vote for the leader of opposition, or they are not going to?
How shall we know they've voted or they've not voted?
No, let's say they are going to vote and they indeed have voted. So you see that is going to centralize power even more and take it back to the hands of our captors. We know any motion that is raised on the floor of parliament, opposition members of parliament have always been marginalized.
They only do quarreling and stop there.
And watching some of them, or even run away. Why? They are the minority.
Was to be censured from
so we are opposition. We are an alternative government. Honestly speaking, why would the members of the ruling party vote on our behalf? And they are the majority. Which point are you trying to make? Are you not trying to make us much more vulnerable?
Because the leading opposition party removed its commissioner, proposed to remove its commissioner from the commission, and the other side, because they're the majority, they protected him. Again, the leading opposition party moved to remove Abed Bwanaka and this other woman from Mitian from chairing those committees. They were again protected by Anita Mongan Parliament. So how can the same people how can we trust that these people will vote with
I want to be brought
public interest?
I want to be brought to speed that any vote cast by an NRM honorable member of parliament is in good faith. Has it ever been? So you're saying you're going to vote for us, the alternative government. You're going, okay, had it been a credible party, like any other party, very fair.
But is it a party?
In any case, it's not. So, why would they be given the audacity, the liberty, to vote on our behalf?
I think the bill does not seek that. The bill is saying, I think Lumu is trying to say opposition members be the one to vote.
That is what I wanted to understand in all this. The opposition members to be the ones to vote. No, so...
But now, if opposition members are going to vote, you have members like...
but that is null and void now.
But you have members, you have members like Obote's son,
yes.
Akena. Akena is in bed with NRM. We have the Democratic Party, whose president is in bed with government. How are we sure these people will vote with credibility and public interest at heart?
The fabricator of the same bill is DP. Am I wrong? Theoretically.
Yes.
Practically, that is NRM. You understand? So what are his motives? You get?
But are they just uncomfortable with saying?
Maybe, I will come to that. Maybe they are trying to see how many people pay true allegiance in any case to maybe a certain leader of opposition, of a party, of opposition. Because if you tell me the opposition members are the people who are going to vote for the leader of opposition, by natural standards, a party with the more number of members of parliament should be winning. So you're making that null and void. Because the party with the most number of members of parliament is who votes for? Who appoints the leader of opposition. So what's the point?
Now, but when you look at it again a little bit quite closely, are these people just uncomfortable with how Senyin is transacting business in that office?
That has been there, and I would want to push this so much to Mpuga rather than Lumu. Why? I told you I cannot find intentions of Mpuga. Faithful intentions are not there. I don't know, has he rumored that he's going to run for presidency?
He, of course.
In one or two of his tweets or whatever, he claims to be a much better leader than Bobby Wine. You get? So I think he's trying to seek relevance.
Wasn't that disingenuous of him?
Because he's trying to show the public, how am I able How would I make a better president?
You see, when you talk
I
about,
would come up with so many reforms.
Isaac, when you talk about Mpuga's presidential ambitions, if he has any, because he's also feared, let me not say he has feared, but he has not brought forward any. Amama Mbabazi did not get more than 100,050 votes across the country.
Yes.
That's Amama Mbabazi. At the level of Mbabazi. Cannot raise more than 150,000 votes across the country.
Yes.
Can Mpuga raise 50,000?
That's why I'm telling you there's a bit of delusion. Why? Because Mpuga is trying to create these bills. You understand? To show, to justify his case anyway, that I would make a better leader. See, I am able to raise this on the floor of parliament, and it can be debated, it can be that, concoct so many things to prove a point that, you know what, if I'm put in that arena, I would make a better candidate, which is so delusional. Why? Because I doubt on any day that Mpuga would score or even 2% is going to be raised in that election. You understand? So I think Mpuga is seeking relevance and trying to portray to the public that, you know what, hey, if I would make a good president, I would start with some of this.
But Isaac, in this whole thing, it seems like Bob Wine has brought a new dimension to opposition politics in Uganda, exposing people who were just masquerading as opposition and bringing real opposition. And I think that's why all these things are coming up.
And there's little wonder that all these things are coming up at that juncture. You understand? When Bob Wine is trying to expose the follies that lie buried, that have been lying buried for all those years, in masqueraders, in schemers.
I think Bob Wine is what we've lacked all along.
Definitely. He has set the pace. But the pace is being defined by those who are schemers, those who are opportunists, those who are, masqueraders, those who present themselves before the public as though they would make better people than we've always known. So I think
because
he has now brought out the clear picture of what has been happening.
Why would government thank someone for opposing it with 500 million? Why would that happen?
Thank who?
Because they thanked the leader of opposition then, Mathias Mpuga, with 500 million. What would prompt the government to thank someone for opposing it?
Might be, but you know how they play their cards. You understand?
We need to understand this clearly, really, because
yes, for me, I want to be pushed to know the intentions of Mpuga if they are outside seeking relevance.
If he comes again,
you see, very many people have not had trust in Bobby Wine, especially the top officials of this country.
They've not had trust, or they beef him.
I'm coming down to that. They think, if you look at Mathias Mpuga, in his senses, he believes I should have been maybe NUP's president, not Bobby Wine. He's not able. They try to relate this and connect it to his background. You understand? They are seeing the guy now trying to put very critical measures, very critical principles.
And smart.
And they are saying, hey, look, so this ghetto boy comes up with all this, it should have been me. So that's where the beef comes from. You understand? Through failing to trust his capacity, his abilities. You understand? So they start beefing.
Rooted in jealousy and envy.
Definitely.
Because when you look at a person who goes to Ntungamo in 2002, gets trust from a family and marries their daughter, in 2011 he throws a party that everyone enjoyed, weds her in broad daylight. He has that mansion at Magere. He's worth $9.2 million US.
Arguably the richest musician in
Not arguably, he's the richest for around 10 years now. How do you say he's not capable?
Some people come around to contest the figures.
He is a father of 4.
Of 4 years.
And married happily. The mother of his children, his own wife, he is always full of praises for him. How can someone say this person is incapable?
We have very many mad people in this country, Rujumba.
But Bob Wine has never been caught in a lodge. That is sleeping with someone.
You can't. And you can't throw any room about it. You understand? Remember, we have very many mad people in this country. You understand? People try to look at life in their own wish. I should be this, I should go.
Even when they don't deserve.
Even when they don't deserve.
And they know it, that they don't deserve.
This is philosophical. It's not even about the daily tantrums, but this is scientific. That people are mad. Even when you don't deserve something, you feel you should deserve it. I don't know why someone thinks a person of Bobby Wine cannot present a better president. Cannot sit down in a class of law, attend classes fully,
and pass.
Read hard and pass, and come up with that bachelor's degree. Why?
Why?
Is he not human? So such delusions are what keep the Mpugas, those illusional fleets, away from
indistinct with
yes.
of empathy.
Yes. You get.
But Isaac, we seem to be running out of time. But you remember also last week, Isaac, the ranting general, he threw tweets all over the place threatening to announce the U.S. ambassador a persona non grata in Uganda.
That is Pope. He's called Pope.
Pope something. He has deleted the tweets, and he has said by 9. Actually, we are 1 hour late.
On Monday.
Oh yeah,
that was the ultimatum.
Yeah, that was the ultimatum. 9 a.m. The apology should have come. No apology has come, and the ambassador is still here, and the general has not done anything.
That follows strict warning from the U.S. Senate.
Yeah,
the U.S. senators.
Thank you, producer, for displaying that. That is the picture of.
Yes, of
that's
Pope.
the picture of Pope. Yeah,
yes.
the U.S. ambassador.
When the U.S. Senate threatened and they were warning strictly, I saw in some of the tweets where Biden was raging seriously that you mess up with my ambassador,
and
I'm going to nuke. He called it nuke. I will nuke your army into ashes.
And it's possible.
It is inevitable. I mean, but now that should if Mohozi didn't learn in the past on how to deal with media, I don't want. Maybe he's technologically excited. This is the time for him to learn. But you will not mess up with every country like that. You will not mess up with every individual like that.
You see, Isaac, there is something here. When you look at this whole thing closely, this could have been a diplomatic scenario. And in this diplomatic scenario, where does the CDF come in? There is a whole Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Rujumba, this is not the very first time this guy is coming up. Mr. Mohozi is coming up with a tirade of such messages. He has thrown tantrums to Kenya before. I've been following his tweets. That's how he jumps into conclusions of where he's not invited. Parties where he's not invited. I don't know who handles his media, but there should be lessons that he has.
But do you think a professional media handler would do what Mohozi is doing? Let's say he has someone who handles his account. If he really had someone handling his account, would that person do that?
But would that person have the authority not to do it?
If at all is ordered to?
But he's under Mohozi.
But then there is someone who thinks this caliber, this person who handles issues like this can form a president.
That's why I told you we have very many mad people in this country.
Psychotic.
Yes. Before we think of even the discussion surrounding, handover of power, maybe presidency or anything, can we first deal with the basics? What are the basics? A whole star general, 5-star general, failing to deal with the media. Yes, I told you, now he has landed in the teeth of lions. He has always jumped things like that. The other day, he threw a tirade of messages like that to Kenya. You remember? Threatening how
the father apologized on his behalf.
And he told someone just yesterday, this guy is trying to put his 8-year-old father into a situation of where he has to offer explanation all the time and offer apologies. At the time when the 8-year-old is tired and chasing
Isaac,
you understand?
Isaac.
So I think he's not fair with his father.
Isaac, these rants came at a time when the US had designated 4 police officers, and
yes,
I saw a tweet. I saw a tweet from one of our exiled exiled Ugandans. You like him so much.
Definitely. There is no mediation.
He was saying that the father could have been denied a visa to the United States. What could really have happened? What could really have forced this rage?
I don't think this is coming from the Museveni side. For the time I've known Museveni, you know I have loved him dearly in the past and like today.
You were disappointed?
Not even disappointed. I was stupid of sorts.
You regret what you did? Voting for him?
I don't regret. I shouldn't have been there. I understood that and came to terms with it.
You did treason?
Yes, definitely. That was treasonous enough. You get?
This is treason.
Yes, it is. Because for the few things I've known about Mr. Museveni, one of the key distinguishing characters he has is one, he has, and you've seen him publicly confessing this, he doesn't give a damn about anything to do with Europe. I don't think if Museveni was denied a visa to go to the Europe, it would spark anything close to what Moses did with his tweets. Maybe because maybe the father is pissed or feels neglected.
What could have forced this rage from the
Me, I'm not shocked. I'm only worried for him. Because we've seen these serious messages from Moses' tweets. Moses has been excited for years. You understand? So I don't really think this is very new and it should be shocking. It should be a lesson to him that you're not going to joke with everyone the way you wish to.
But imagine this recklessness with it at the helm of the country as the president. What would that mean? Wouldn't this man do what Amin did in 1978 to attack Kagera in Tanzania? Wouldn't this man do the same?
Yeah, such unguided thoughts could lead eventually to things like those. You understand? Where you find a president making decisions that are even out of the context of leadership. Very reckless decisions. You understand? So that's why I'm sticking to it. He should pick a thing or two from this experience.
Isaac, we are coming to the end of this because we've taken a lot of time. I think we don't have more than 4 minutes here. But I want to just take you back a little to the MPs.
Yes.
You've seen the debate of the MPs raging on corruption. Members have brought petitions forward to petition the speaker to have a debate on this. Members have spoken eloquently and vocally. But in the entire Toro region, come from Chegegwa up to Ntoroko Bundubujo, you've not seen an MP talk about corruption that is raging in parliament. What does this mean? There were Murichas, Ruhunda, Margaret Mohanga, Butime, they are all dead, silent like a tombstone. What does this mean about our representation in parliament here?
I think that does not particularly apply to the members of parliament you mentioned, but when you have a general view of it, on the floor of parliament, it has majorly been opposition MPs who have taken the widest percentage.
But Alyon, this MP Alyon,
those are rare cases.
Is an NRM fan?
Yes, those are few cases.
Sechikubo is NRM.
I want you to divorce Butime, Rumuricha, Ruhunda, Margaret from NRM.
What are they?
Yes.
What are they?
They are NRM. You understand?
How do you divorce them then?
You can't. That's what I'm saying. I want you to divorce these from NRM.
Okay.
You get? But also, being from this part of Western Uganda, I'm always tickled to think that these people are some of the people who have always allowed to associate themselves with the regime, no matter the odds. You understand?
They would do that religiously.
So the association comes with a cost. One, if we are the fabricators of corruption and we are NRM, please, if you are true loyalists, you understand, never try to talk about what we failed at. You understand? You get? Museveni is scared of corruption. He may be the fabricator, but he's scared of it.
It is his backbone.
Yes.
Would you say that?
Yes, but he's scared of it. You get? Anybody who discusses corruption as though he's trying to attack the spinal nerve of Mr. Museveni. You understand? So, being from this part of Western Uganda, you get? These are people who have not only been NRM, but distinguished members of NRM.
But even if you look at corruption, even if you remove these corruption scandals from the equation, Parliament now is in its 4th session. They are coming to their very last session. There is nothing to show for these MPs in this region for 4 years now. There is nothing you're going to say Romlich has done at the floor of Parliament.
Yes.
Because when you talk of an MP, you're talking about budget appropriation, legislation, oversight, and representation.
Correct.
Those are the 4 areas you're looking
yes,
at an MP.
Yes.
Not how many burials you have attended, not how many football tournaments you have attended or sponsored. I mean, when you look at the 4 cardinal roles of an MP, these boys and girls, there is nothing to show for them in the 4 years. Does that mean we have to be careful in the next round of elections?
You're very right. Even if we were extra careful, I don't think we will mediate so much. We will run away so much from such kind of leaders from this region. Why? Rujumba, we have members of parliament, especially from here, who are bothered so much by associating themselves with just the regime.
And that's all they are.
The discussion will always surround that.
What M7 says is what they will do.
And please, that is my role, that's my job. When I go there, I must make sure, hold that in the highest of regards. You understand? Not forgetting the fact that they are also poor. They are not any different from the majority of the people here. You get? So when you combine the 2 factors, I think you don't expect any. You understand? Because we've not also seen some sort of opposition from this side. That is for a fact.
Yeah.
You get?
Well, Isaac, you came, it was an impromptu arrangement and invitation. It's not easy to chip in at that short notice. But of course, thank you for chipping in. Viewers, it's been very good to have you this morning with us, and thank you for being with us. Isaac, you can always come. You can always come. We discuss these issues.
Please, I'm intrigued now, and it's a pleasure that you were able to think of me in the shortest time possible to be a part of this.
Myself, it was a short time to be thought of to come here.
Definitely. When in the shortest time and in whisk of moments you think about someone, therefore you wish they could be the right people for some of these events. I thank you so much, and thank our viewers for being a part, those who have been able to take part. Thank you so much.
Yeah, until then, see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Mwibara lyange komlisa usaza ya fotofoto nintwara mugisa gunu okusima bona batanu batwatiraho na muno myaka yenyuma ende twasorolize bilioni 2 abo mlemo gwo kusemeza eklezia yitu rugatwa evirika omulimo gwatandikire twasanga ntwetaga sente kuongeraho bilioni na milioni rukaga nabweki abakozi abakora mulimo gunu kampuni ya gukora aba contractors baturaganize ngo hampero yo kwezi kwa November beja ko romalizo mulimo ogu nabweki nsaba abagonzebwa twataniza hamu kurorangu ensimu zona ntwisoroza nuko tusobole kurorangu abakozi abakora mulimo gunu bantu bamalira sobole kubasasura nabweki nimbarama ilaka tuongeremwa abani omwembingo yona tereho kusoza ensimbi koraba mparishe zaitu kusobora kusoza ensimbi zinu ziratukonyera kutunga esente zikwetagisa omulimo guno mulungi nabweki abarungi mumanye ngu omukoha mukama n'omutima gumu mukama n'abasima kana abaho mugisagwe nanyo nimbasabira mugisagwe mugutunge kana ititwena ntubasabira nuko mukama abe mugisa nanyo we nkomerezo wa mukama nimbaho mugisa mwibale sitwe nerya mwana nerya moyo mukirire amina.
Richard Rwabuhinga niribara ryange ndiyo mu abantu abahuliriza kandi abarora Fort TV amakuru agakizira ubwingi nikiragatunga ku ruga Fort TV ningonze ntekanoze yabeyanye ncyakara kandi ndiyo mu habasagiki abamani aba Fort TV. Fort TV mugumeho muhereza abantu baitu amakuru amarungi abwenkorakorana yensi yaitu.
Fort TV ikara osemerirwe.
My name is Rujumba Araali, and I'll be presiding over this debate.
Will you, as in you are in P6, will you go to P7 without doing exams? No.
Exams help to test pupils if she or her is able.
Sir Chair, I request for only
Please,
1 minute.
not allowed, take your seat.
We'll be able to represent our city because of Hinga Primary School.
On my own behalf, as the Bishop Ordinary of Fort Portal Diocese, I like to take this opportunity to thank all of you, people of God, for your generous contribution of 2 billion that you made as we are beginning fundraising for our Cathedral of Virika. As time went on, we realized that we needed more funds amounting to 1.6 billion so as to complete the works which have come up newly. And